NIO to $1 trillion is looking a lot more likely these days. Analysts are upgrading the stock price. NIO had its first ever Power Day event, and things are looking really good for the stock right now. So today's video, we're going to break down exactly what's going on with NIO, because at this first ever Power Day event, they came out with some shocking announcements, upgrades on what they plan on doing with battery swapping stations this year, not only in China, but how they're expanding overseas. After we go over the Power Day, we're going to talk about what's going on with their superchargers, swapping stations, and home charging stations in Norway, because they just got major approvals, major announcements there. And at the end of the video, we're going to talk about what is going on with their expansion plan into Europe and how they have picked a new country. Well, at least the information has been leaked about a new country that they're going to be going into next, which could be massive for them getting a foothold in the European market and really actually making the $1 trillion market cap for NIO a reality. So if you guys like this sort of content, well then please be sure to like the video, subscribe, and if you don't already have the public.com investing app, make sure to go ahead and follow me on that. You can buy stocks, sell stocks, and see exactly what I'm buying and selling in real time, as well as a full portfolio breakdown. Think of it like an investing app combined with social media. It is completely free to follow me. Use the code Michael when you sign up, and you'll get up to $50 in a free stock. But anyways, let's just start off with this Power Day event, because there was a lot of surprising announcements that came out at this event with regards to projections being increased by the company, with regards to expansion plans, and some other shocking numbers in terms of total number of battery swaps that they've already done. So let's start off there. First things first, as you guys saw in the title, we talk about how NIO's doing something that Tesla never could, never would. And what we're seeing is that Tesla, if you guys didn't know, actually tried to roll out their own battery swapping technology back in 2014, but they only ever built one battery swapping station, and they quickly killed the project because they weren't successful with it. They didn't work. They didn't think it would work long term. However, at NIO's Power Day event, they just proved Tesla wrong. They proved analysts wrong, and anyone who says battery swapping stations don't work or are not going to be successful, they proved all of these people wrong, because at the Power Day event in Shanghai, they said that they now have completed more than 2.9 million swaps. 2.9 million swaps. That's up from about 500,000 last year. So they've done over 2 million in the last year. And in addition to this, right now they have over 301 power swapping stations in China. So everyone who says the number of stations they have right now can't handle the demand, it's like, that's going to be a good problem down the road. If they have too much demand, too many people want to go to a battery swapping station in a city at a given time, that means that there are millions of NIO cars out on the road already, because 301 power swapping stations were able to swap over 2 million batteries in the last year. And think about it, they've already upgraded these systems to be the battery swapping stations to include more batteries on site and be able to swap batteries faster. That's their second generation of battery swapping stations. So for those people who are saying battery swapping stations aren't going to work because what happens if there's a line of people? First of all, it's the same as a gas station. They can still swap out, millions in a year. And if they want to add more, they could just make it like a gas station. Add a couple battery swapping stations at a location, boom, you solve the problem. But that ultimately won't be a big issue unless there are millions and millions of people who have cars, because we could already see that they're able to do 2 million battery swaps with only 300 power swapping stations. That's first thing. Next is with regards to their plans for overseas. So right now, NIO says that they're increasing this year's goal to have 500 battery swapping stations by the end of the year, up to 700 battery swapping stations. And this is exciting because originally everyone thought 500 was going to be a little bit of a stretch. We didn't know if it was going to happen. But actually now they said we're on track and we're upgrading this because we have been building them out so quickly that with over 300 battery swapping stations now, we think we can get to 700 by the end of the year. In addition to this, they also said by 2025, they're going to ramp up this production and ultimately get to 4,000 battery swapping stations worldwide, with around 1,000 outside of China. And remember, I'm not going to say, oh, NIO's great. Everything about NIO is great, because nothing is great. Like, there's not everything great about every company. So the one thing that I'd be concerned with here is the battery swapping stations outside of China is going to be more difficult. It's hard to build up infrastructure in other countries, and it's hard to get involved when no one has ever used that sort of system there before. No one in Europe has used a battery swapping station. So We'll see how that plays out. I think that's going to be a little harder. It's going to be a little harder at first, but if they get that initial integration working, people like it at first, I don't think it'll be a problem. But just that initial push, getting people to want to go to battery swapping stations, installing them, I think that's going to be hard. But if they're able to successfully do it in Norway, then I think it'll definitely work throughout the rest, outside of China and in other countries as well. And last thing, with regards to their battery swapping station, this is probably the biggest announcement, the most exciting thing that they announced at this Power Day event. And this is with regards to what NIO is doing by opening up their battery swapping system to other automakers. This is huge. This is like NIO is becoming the gas station of the future, but they're also the company that designs and makes the cars. They make their NIO cars. They have a couple SUVs. They're coming out with a couple of sedans, but they also are trying to be the gas station by not only, swapping batteries for their own cars, but swapping batteries for other automakers' electric vehicles as well. So NIO said at the NIO Power Day event that they want to make NIO's power charging and swapping system and battery as a service system fully available to the entire industry in order to share its achievements with the automotive industry and smart electric vehicle users. So this is absolutely game changer. We don't know the specific details of how they're going about doing this or how they're going to work this new initiative, but all we know is if they're going to start licensing out this technology or building battery swapping stations that then other manufacturers can use, this is going to mean billions of dollars in additional revenue for NIO that they wouldn't have had otherwise. So all of those things at the NIO Power Day event are so exciting, from them building out more battery swapping stations this year than they originally expected, to expanding overseas and having 4,000 battery swapping stations by 2025, and by opening the system up to other people and other automotive companies in the industry. Those are all huge, and that's what went on at their NIO Power Day event, the first ever Power Day event on July 9th, 2021. But that's just the beginning, because within the last couple of days, we also had major announcements come out from NIO with regards to their current status of expanding overseas. And the first thing we're going to go over is what is going on with regards to Norway, because everyone's been talking about what's going on with Norway. NIO's been talking about Norway for a while, and now we have some concrete data, some concrete approvals, and now they're actually starting to make way. So the first thing is that NIO has already sent vehicles over to Norway, that we have known. But the key difference is now NIO can officially send home chargers, superchargers, and swapping stations to Norwegian customers. They said that home chargers and superchargers are going to be available to customers in Norway beginning September. They said the first rollout of battery swapping stations is going to be by the end of this year. So really, right now, mostly we're going to have home chargers, superchargers going to Norway. By the end of the year, we're going to have a couple of battery swapping stations in Norway. But the important thing here is that they just received approval from, I'm probably gonna say this wrong, but the Rhineland European Conformity Certificate and the TÜV Mark Approval Certificate. Both of these certificates allow NIO to finally sell and operate to all EU member states their power station equipment, their battery swapping stations, charging ports, and superchargers. All of those they can now sell and operate to any European Union member state. So that is very, very exciting. We're going to see home chargers, superchargers make their way to Norway by September, battery swapping stations by the end of the year. They said they're going to have 4 initial second generation battery swapping stations in Norway this year, and they expect to expand to 5 Norwegian cities in 2022. And this is what we go back to earlier in the video, talking about, is their power swapping station going to be successful in countries around the world? And this is what we're going to have to see. Getting into Norway, it's great they have approval, but is this going to actually be sticky? And is it going to hold with European customers? Are European customers going to like these battery swapping stations, or are they not going to work? So in order for them to accomplish their goal of having 1,000 battery swapping stations outside of China by the end of 2025, we're going to have to see this initial test in Norway be successful, go according to plan. Next up, last thing I do want to talk about is So everyone's talking about Norway, how they have their vehicles there. They get approval for battery swapping stations, approval for superchargers, and all of that stuff. But we just had some leaked information come out from NIO with regards to the next country they're going to be expanding into, and that is into Germany. Because NIO just released a job posting for a general manager in Germany, and this is very exciting. They haven't confirmed saying that Germany is going to be their next market or that's where they're going, but when we break this down, it is pretty obvious that this is where they're going. When we look at this job posting, it says NIO is looking for a general manager to lead its business development. In addition to this, it also says that the position will be the key person developing NIO's organization and business, and they're going to execute the go-to-market strategy, be responsible for achievement of comprehensive operations across multiple disciplines. When I'm looking at that, that's by no means any customer service position. This is a position where it's like your job is to make it so we are successful in Germany and we can start expanding overseas. And I think that's what we're starting to see, because right now NIO has design centers in Germany. It's the only place in the world where they have a global design center. It's been operating in Munich for years. So Germany didn't come out of the blue. It makes sense that they're going there. In addition to this, Germany also is a major European country with one of the largest GDPs out of all countries in Europe. So this is a major market to be going into, and it's actually very exciting. And finally, with regards to going into Germany, everyone says, well, NIO has job postings in a bunch of countries all over the world. They have it in, let's say, Netherlands or Amsterdam, and they have it in countries all over the world. So what makes this different? Well, this job posting is different because we know expansion is inevitable. They've talked about expanding overseas. They said Norway was going to be their first country. After that, they were going to jump into other countries. So Germany, this one is different because they already have a global design center there. This position specifically says go-to-market strategy, and they want someone to lead that. And also, we just had all this positive news with them getting approval for battery swapping stations, battery chargers, superchargers, all being operated and sold in any of the EU member states. So all of this is pointing to the fact that Germany is going to be the next country in Europe that NIO is going to head to after Norway. Obviously, they're just getting started in Norway, but I think it's going to be exciting to see how these plans continue to develop and how expansion continues to go. Because a lot of their plans right now are reliant on them becoming a global brand, not just in China, and that's what's really going to make them a $1 trillion market cap company. Everyone says it's impossible. It's not possible. You got to remember, right now, if NIO dominates the Chinese market, that's all they need to really be a $1 trillion company. When you look at it, China sells over 20 million vehicles every single year. So if NIO could dominate that market alone, and I think they can because they're a Chinese-based company, they're backed by the government wants a Chinese company to succeed, I think all those reasons alone could make it so NIO dominates the Chinese market ahead of Tesla. Like the Chinese government can do whatever they want with Tesla. They don't care about them. But with NIO, the Chinese government cares about them. They'll put any restrictions into place to make sure they win. And because of that, even if NIO just dominates China, I think that alone can make them a $1 trillion company. But if they expand overseas and that works very well, then it's a complete game changer with their autonomous driving technology, with their battery swapping stations becoming the gas station of the future. I think all of this is why NIO can reach a $1 trillion market cap and why they have so many exciting plans developing right now. So not even looking at numbers, just looking at expansion plans and what they're doing with battery swapping stations, that alone, I think is going to push the stock price up even higher. And analysts currently agree. Analysts right now are saying NIO stock price, they've upgraded. They say it can rally 50% by the end of this year. They're saying they expect NIO's volume growth momentum to pick up on strong EV demand and competitive premium EV proposition and established brand traction. They said, in addition to this, Chinese consumers are actually really liking NIO. Everyone says that Chinese consumers like the American brands, the European brands, because they're cool. And that is like a common known fact. But NIO has seen a lot of strong brand recognition. Like people are really liking NIO brand in China. They have the NIO app. They are building NIO houses. They have NIO Life. They have so many aspects of their business that makes NIO much like Apple. for the electric vehicle industry, much like the Apple of China. So right now, many analysts are saying that NIO has strong brand traction, solid product offerings, solid reputations among existing customers and new customers, and they think what's really going to help propel this business is going to be that the Generation Z, in their view, is going to be the most tangible car buyer for NIO in the coming decade, and what's going to really push them over the edge and continue to propel the stock price higher. So that's what analysts say. That's what's going on with NIO. But I wanted to get this video out to you guys, get prepared for, the next couple of weeks, next couple of months, because there's a lot of exciting developments with NIO, and as long as they're able to deliver on what they say, I think NIO is a great stock to buy. Me personally, I've been adding a lot to my position. You could see on public.com. Just follow my profile. It's completely free. It's just like a Twitter and Robinhood combined. But you can follow me on there. You can see all the stocks I've recently been buying. I have been adding NIO, so you can see that on there. But I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Let me know what you guys think of NIO. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.